Hey everyone, real quick before we get into it, don't forget to
like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram.
Check out the podcast on Podbean. We're on Spotify, Stitcher, Apple Podcast, and Google Play.
And with all that said and done, let's get to it.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to episode 118 of the Hella Average Gamescast, and we're back for another week. We're only too strong, but I've got a different voice with me than I did last week. We got Carmin back after a long absence. It was like a whole week or something. I don't know. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. It feels like I haven't been here for 2 weeks, maybe.
Maybe. I don't remember. I know that it's been a long time since we got to hear your voice and the world got to hear your voice. So I know that that itch is getting scratched now.
Yeah, so thank you for the warm welcome back. Feels good to be here and ready to talk about some games.
Absolutely. Jeremy's going to be out this week just due to scheduling. So me and Carmen are going to hold it down. So let's just jump right into it. I don't see any reason we should pause it and, postpone any longer. But Carm, since you've been gone 2 weeks, I'm going to be a good host. And did you play anything worthwhile? You play anything worth talking about?
I've been getting back on the Destiny 2 grind, getting ready for Shadowkeep, getting ready for that Stadia launch, since it's now going to have cross-save. So that's really mainly been it.
Very cool. Very cool. I'm excited to play Destiny, but I probably won't jump back in until Stadia. I think we talked about it a little bit off air. So That's the game plan on my end. I've been playing mostly Mortal Kombat. I actually played some like Minecraft the other day, which was weird. I was telling Jeremy about it, but that was fun for what it was. And then a little bit of Rocket League with you guys, which seems to be fun every once in a while.
Oh yeah, a little bit of Rumble action is never a bad time.
Rocket League's so fun, man. It's got some really awesome game modes. Just great fun. I mean, you can, if you want to take it seriously, you can. If you want to just goof around, you can. I'm down with it. I don't think it gets enough praise. I think it should be one of the best games ever made category.
I think it is.
Maybe it is. It could be.
I think it's just too young for them to be like, this is the greatest game ever made.
Yeah, I could see that, and they're still supporting it. They're not moving on to new stuff, so looks like they're putting their eggs in that basket for a while now.
For sure.
But since Jeremy's not here, we can't really get a feel for his week, but we'll get him caught up next week. So I guess, without further ado, do you remember what time it is?
Yes, sir. It's time for some news.
Beautiful, and man, we are cruising along. There is some news this week, so I think we got a little bit more than last week, but last week we had that Nintendo Direct, so it took up a lot of time, but we got some cool stuff to talk about this week, and actually, believe it or not, Nintendo is going to be first up on our list here. A few things happening with them. Let's get kind of the bad out of the way, that old Nintendo corner that we haven't opened in a while. They came out today. They're suing another ROM site. Looks like they're going after them. So, do you remember what the name of that site was, Carmen?
I think it's ROM Universe. The site's still up currently, but I don't expect that to last very long.
No, I think in past experience, when Nintendo's decided to go after one of these sites, it's pretty quick, but they get shut down.
Yeah, and this site is pretty interesting in the fact that like they offer a subscription that will like allow you to get faster download speeds on ROMs. Nintendo's going at them heavy for big bucks on everything that they've infringed on. So, best of luck to them. I hope that they've lawyered up.
Yeah, and if Nintendo has a lot of money and a lot of resources, and they seem to make stuff like this a priority, so it doesn't seem, when Nintendo comes knocking and you get a letter or cease and desist, I think you should follow it, because Nintendo doesn't tend to play. They're not big into scare tactics. They usually say what they mean.
Yeah, and with the classics coming to the Switch, they're going to start really hammering down on these things.
Yeah, I agree, because they're changing their model up. They're giving a lot of these SNES Classic games away free to subscribers. I'm assuming that they'll keep that model for other things too, like the NES, things of that nature. So that makes those titles all the more precious. More precious than I think they've been in a while, because even when you had those minis coming out, it was cool to have, but there wasn't a new way to play, There wasn't like on the new console on the Switch. So now that that's becoming a thing, I feel like Nintendo is going to be all the more vigilant about these sites trying to get those ROMs up.
Without a doubt.
So, I expect that to be down probably within a week or so. We'll check in next week if we can remember and see if that site's still up. I wonder if they're just going to take down the Nintendo stuff, or the whole site has to go down.
I'm sure once they go under fire, they're going to just end up eventually pulling it all down. I mean, they're probably going to exhaust a lot of money in lawyer fees, and then again on a settlement. I mean, for the last one, what was it, like Love ROMs and something else? There was 2 sites that they brought down, ran by the same people, I believe, and they settled for like 12 mil.
Yeah, and there's a couple, not just that one, that I remember in the recent, I would say within the past year.
Yeah, like, I don't like getting my car bill. Imagine you get hit with a 12 milli so silly.
Oh, man. I would just laugh at it, because obviously I don't have 12 mil, and I highly doubt this ROM site does. So
just take everything I have.
Just take everything. Garnish my wages forever. So Nintendo doesn't play. So to notes of the aspiring ROM and pirators, watch out for Nintendo. They don't mess around.
Yeah, they're not playing any games.
I tell you what is cool with Nintendo, though, and this is something I didn't hear about until right before the show when we were kind of going over everything that we were going to talk about. They actually announced, because Overwatch, it was announced becoming a Switch, so that was a fairly cool and big announcement. So now we're seeing some Overwatch Pro controllers for the Switch coming out. I don't think they're Nintendo licensed. They're made by a third-party company, but there's 2 so far, which are the Dva and the Reaper, and they both look absolutely sick, man. They're really cool. I'm digging the way these look.
Yeah, I love the Diva one. Diva's my favorite character, so that might be a pickup to just grab that Pro controller and have just another one in the arsenal.
Yeah, that sounds like something you need to have then. I mean, if that's going to be your main, you need to have that. And it's nice. It's got that pink tones to it, man.
Oh, yeah. Purples, pinks. She fire.
I wonder if she's one of, like, the main characters now, like, known characters, because when it launched, it was, like, Winston, Reaper, and Tracer. And Diva was there, and she was popular, but now I just wonder why they picked her for a controller and not someone else. I wonder if she's becoming more popular with the demographic, and if they polled them to see who's the most popular character, that kind of thing.
I think that with the 2 that they did like a very male, masculine, strong character like Reaper. And then they were able to do like a bubbly, purple, pink, brighter model. So I think that the 2 just contrast each other very well, and then they offer an option for both the male and female crowds.
That actually makes a lot of sense. I didn't even think about looking at it from that way. Because that Reaper is like black and dark and gray, and it just looks badass. And then the Diva one still looks badass, but it definitely has a more feminine feel to it, feminine look to it. But I personally like the Diva one better, so I'm right there with you.
Do it. Pull the trigger, man.
I think I could. I do need another controller. I got the GameCube controller, I've got the Pro controller, and the Joy-Cons, and that's it.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how the game plays, because I take it you guys talked about this last week.
Yeah, we talked about Overwatch last week. And
is the game going to be better on a Pro controller, or is it going to be better in handheld mode?
Well, so that's what... Well, so me and Jeremy were talking just kind of about frame rate. We know it's fairly high on consoles, like PlayStation. Obviously, it's high on PC, but on Nintendo, what are they going to do? And I would assume they're just going to drop it down, lock it at 30 frames, and in handheld mode, it's probably going to be 720. So it's going to be smooth. I don't foresee it being easier to play it in handheld mode. I think that it's meant to be played with the controller. I mean, I think that it's just be any kind of first-person shooter like that. I think is much easier with the controller.
Yeah, I think it will. I think the controller will play more to your like twitch reflexes. Because, like, if you, like, sometimes, like, if you jerk too hard, like, with your hand, you're going to, like, rock the whole console if you got it in your hand, which is going to, like, throw your vision off, possibly throw off your aim, everything else.
Yeah,
I'm interested.
And sometimes when I play like Smash on handheld, like I'll go for like a side B and I'll actually hit. It'll be like technically a down B by the way I've got the controller tilted. So, I don't know. I can't. If it's me, if I'm putting my money on it, handheld will work fine, and I'm sure that you can get the hang of it. But if you really want to, I think to really get the full feel of it, it's still going to look good on the TV with the Pro controller in your hand.
Yeah, so like that's going to be best, followed up by kickstand, and then on the tail end, like if you really want to play it in handheld mode. I'm going to try it all 3 ways.
Of course, and then handheld mode, obviously, for when you're on the go. I know we talked about it last week, but we were talking about it again before we started the show. Because Overwatch is an online game, you're going to need, your Wi-Fi hotspot on your phone if you're traveling, or, a lot of the newer vehicles have their own Wi-Fi hotspot built in. So it sucks because unless they put in some type of offline mode, which I highly doubt they will, it's going to be hard to play this game on the go because not everywhere has Wi-Fi. And I just don't. I don't know. I would hope that they would add to it, but I don't think they're going to do something that drastic to a different version. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I don't see that happening.
But still,
this would be a good reason for them to go into possibly making like a PvE mode, or some kind of story, or some type of mission, or like a weekly challenge you could download and play offline. So there's opportunity.
Now, that might be the smarter way to do it. Give a challenge or a map, something you could download and then to play offline. That would be smart instead of having to retool an entire mode or something like that. But nonetheless, I'm super excited for it. I'm going to pick it up again. It'll be my second time buying it. And I'm really excited to play it on the Switch. I might even buy it for the Stadia. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know how much Overwatch I need in my life. Probably all the Overwatch. All right. So that's it for Nintendo. Some cool stuff going on there. We'll keep an eye on that and keep everyone abreast of the situation. So let's talk. We got a lot of new games that came out or are coming out. Tokyo Game Show's coming up, so we've got some new trailers that are coming out. So we want to talk some of this new stuff we're seeing. A lot of it has some really big hype around it. So let's start off with some of the leaks we've seen for Tokyo Game Show so far. I believe it starts officially tomorrow and goes through Sunday. So, but we saw a trailer for Nioh 2, which is we both agree is absolute fire.
Yeah, oh my.
Let's see, what else we got? Kingdom Hearts 3, the DLC. And I think that's the one I didn't see the trailer for, but you said it makes no sense.
Yeah, it just is more of the, Kingdom Hearts mumbo-jumbo, nobody understands. And really, the only thing I got out of it, and I might be completely wrong, because a lot of things look like this character, but it seems to me like Sephiroth is going to make an appearance finally in Kingdom Hearts 3.
I think that would be a safe bet. I wouldn't be scared to make that bet, honestly.
Yeah, it's like he was a boss in an extra boss in Kingdom Hearts 1. You fought him in Kingdom Hearts 2, and then you don't see him at all in Kingdom Hearts 3.
He'll be there.
I think he's coming. I saw the silver hair, just some strands of silver hair, and I was like, that's my boy.
And I saw an article, and I can't remember where it was, where I read it at, but they said that this DLC is more, it reminded them of an anime DLC, much more than following the Disney players, the Disney world just felt a little bit different. So, I guess that could be good to some people who like that feel. It would obviously play into having Sephiroth on there from Final Fantasy, would have that feel to it. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I'm gonna pick it up just for more nostalgia's sake.
Well, yeah, I expected that. That's a game you platinum, so I could see you picking up and playing those DLCs.
Yeah, and they expect it in the winter.
This year? I didn't know it was coming out this year.
Yeah, coming this winter.
That's even more cool. I'm down with that. And last but not least, for the new trailers we have so far, the new Final Fantasy VII Remake trailer, we got to see some more summons, and man, that game just looks amazing. They're doing a great job. If the trailers are indicative of the gameplay, they are doing a phenomenal job so far, it appears.
Yeah, it totally looks like it's ahead of its time. It's stunning visuals. The gameplay looks amazing. If only you guys could see our group text chat between me, Cam, and Jeremy. Jeremy says he can die after he plays this game and he'll be a happy camper. We hope that doesn't happen after he plays the game because we love hearing his beautiful voice. But we went from skeptical to like deeply in love with something in a matter of 2 trailers.
Yeah, easily. Yeah. I mean, E3 like ignited that spark, and then it's been slowly burning and getting bigger and bigger ever since.
Yeah, so if you haven't seen the trailer from Tokyo Game that leaked early or dropped early, however you want to reference it, please go watch it. By the time you see this, Tokyo Game Show will be over. But please, please, please let us know what you think of this remake.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, by the time this is out, TGS will be over, and we'll be actually going over all the news for next week's show. So, I mean, if you're listening a year in the future, go ahead and check out next week's show. We'll talk about everything we saw from TGS. But this is some of the cool stuff we've seen. There's rumors that we're going to see some more Ghosts of Tsushima there, but there's not going to be anything new. So I don't know what's going to happen there. We're also, I think we talked about it a couple weeks back, we're going to learn some more about that new Resident Evil project that should be coming out. So there's a lot of cool stuff coming down the pike, I would say. I'm sure we're going to learn some more about Death Stranding because it's on the horizon as well. So I'm excited for TGS, and typically I don't get so excited for it, but it seems like there's going to be a lot of good stuff coming this year. Next on the list, let's talk about some of the new games that actually dropped, and specifically I think there's 2 that's on everybody's mind here. One's already out, and one is launching Friday, which is 2 days from now, and some people already have it in their hands. But Gears 5 is out and getting good reviews, so I'm hearing good things about it. Have you heard anything different, or are you kind of getting the same feeling, Carm?
There's like the reviews to me seem to be like kind of hit or miss. Like certain things about the game are really good, certain game modes are not. And then like a lot of people that I talk to that play on Xbox, they're like, the story mode's great, but the online has never hit for me. And I mean, they're going on 5 games strong at this point. So like they're gonna get their like diehard fan base into what they want to play. So like there's some people that are gonna be like exclusively story, and they're gonna love it because it's it just continues on with what they did. And then there's gonna be people that are only on for the online mode, like, yeah, we did the story, we played it, and now we're gonna do online, and that's gonna be our grind for a while. And then we'll have the naysayers that just lie in the middle and eat the game up for what it is. I can't talk on it because I've only ever played a few hours of Gears of War across the 4 games that were out previous.
I mean, I'm no Gears expert, but I've played 1, 2, and 3, and I stopped there. But, the feel I'm getting is that, obviously, it does good for the Gears franchise. I think it's going to be the best game on the Xbox this entire year. And I also think that as far as the, I would say, experience goes, they hit it. They hit every note they needed to. Now, I did see some misses too. It seems like they had a rough launch, things of that nature, but all that's fixable. I think the story itself, the gameplay, the graphics, the stuff that you need, inherently to make a good game, I think that was all there. And, overall, I see this being a strong launch for them. And like I said, I think it broke some records already for being the most played game of the year on Xbox, so there's no real surprise there, but it's, pretty cool to see it happen so fast.
Yeah, no, it's going to blow up. This is massive. And then, like, if you have Game Pass, you have this game at your disposal. Just press download.
Again, we said it, and we're probably going to echo it a million more times, but that is easily the best deal in gaming. I mean, you can't imagine, no other service gives you something like this where their game launches, their exclusive game launches, day one you get it on this service. It is insane. If you have an Xbox, you have to have this. So, we're more PlayStation guys in general, but I can't talk enough about how good this is.
Yeah, like if there was a service like this on PlayStation, I would be all over it, like twice over.
I agree, totally. And unfortunately, PlayStation lags behind in that respective of the 2 consoles. So, Gears out. Get it if you got Xbox. I think it's a must-have, especially if you already own the system. For some people out there, it might be a system seller. I don't know. I don't know if it still has that kind of power, but, you know, like you said, they've still got their diehard fans, but I would assume they would already own an Xbox at this point. So.
Oh, yeah, and if you're playing, that comment section, you know, just scroll on down wherever you're at. Hit your keys. Let us know what you're thinking.
Because we're not hands-on. We need to know the hands-on people. We need to know what they're saying.
Facts.
How long's that campaign? How immersive is it? How you like it? I saw something cool online. Somebody was just playing the game and they took a screenshot. Not a screenshot, a short video, I think. And they were like shooting around, but then they were standing on ice, a frozen lake, and they shot a hole in the ice and you could actually see it freezing back up. And I was like, man, look at the detail in that. That's pretty dope.
Yeah, no, that's super cool.
So yeah, go get Gears. If you got an Xbox, go get it. The next one is technically coming out Friday. So we're recording this on Wednesday. It'll probably come out on Monday. So by the time you hear this, the game's going to be out. But that is Borderlands 3. The embargo is also lifted on it. And we've got some weird reviews on this one. They're not necessarily bad. They're not breaking the doors down. But we're getting a lot of, you need to play this to come to your own conclusion. If you like Borderlands, you'll like this. You know, it's more of the same type thing. So, not necessarily a bad thing, but Carl made a good point, and I'm going to let him describe the way he described it to me because I thought it was pretty funny. But, you know, I guess you could say, because everybody else is saying it, if you enjoyed the first two entries, this doesn't stray away from that.
Yeah, but it's just odd to say that. It's like, you like the first, like, everybody liked the first two Kingdom Hearts games. A lot of people did not like the third one. The example I gave Cam off the air was macaroni and cheese. Like, I love mac and cheese, but if you make your macaroni out of radishes, I'm not on board. So, like, I really hope that this game does more than what they're saying. And, like, Polygon says it's a chore to play this game. And then other people are like, this game's amazing, and that's because they love the first two. So I'm really wondering how this is going to resonate, like, in the community. Like, we're going to see in the next 10 to 15 days how great this game really can be or is not. To me, like, you can't sell me a game and say, like, you're gonna love it because you love the other two.
I mean, I get the sentiment, I get what they're trying to say, but then when you explain it that way, I'm like, yeah, I get it. It doesn't, just because it's more of the same doesn't mean you're going to like it.
Yeah.
We're going to find out, you know, full transparency, we'll be getting the game, and then we're out of town this weekend, but we'll be playing probably starting Monday. So the next time we record, we'll have some hands-on experience with Borderlands. And it'll be cool because I'm a fan of the gameplay, story, and the aesthetic. Carmin is not so much a fan of it. It doesn't necessarily tickle his fancy. So we'll have a couple of different points of view on it. And Jeremy, I think, has never even looked at Borderlands. So,
and probably won't.
And probably won't. So there's that. But look, can't wait to dive into it. Really excited to get a hold of it. And you'll have a little bit more of a hands-on review coming next week. So I think that this should be a pickup, but hey, I haven't played, so don't take my word to the bank yet. I don't want to be the one that you yell at because I told you something wrong. I'm sorry. I should not say that. Don't listen to me. I don't know what I'm talking about. Cut the podcast off right now.
And insert the Waka Flocka okay meme right there.
All right, so the last three topics we've got kind of stand alone on themselves. And let's talk about some, probably some news that's pretty sad and announced that they're planning on closing. They're calling them underperforming stores, but I think if we look at this through a realistic lens, we know what's going on.
Yeah, the company is just underperforming as a whole.
Yeah.
There's just nothing. There's no other way to explain it.
We've seen the stocks tanking. We've seen the backlash. We've seen all this stuff happening. CEOs leaving. And now they're closing 200 stores. It's too much of a coincidence at this point.
Yeah, and then they just cut a bunch of staff earlier, like from, what was it, Game Informer?
Right, yeah. So they cut some from GameStop and then almost the entire, I think all but like 7 of their editors from Game Informer.
Yeah. I just don't know what fixes them. Like, you can't go into digital sales because, like, there's no perk. And you've exhausted a lot of options by trying to go into, like, collectibles and different gaming things, and t-shirts. I just think that they're in a market that's not going to survive very long. In terms of like the abundance of game stores. But then again, like there wasn't a lot of game stores when we were growing up.
Yeah, I mean, they were more niche and like
yeah, they was
privately
still
owned.
like, what did we have? We had what, Babbage's? Do you remember those? Like we had a Babbage's, and then maybe some video games were sold at some other retailers.
KB Toys, I think.
Yeah, KB Toys had video games.
And Toys R Us.
Toys R Us. They still have video games. Well, they had video games before they shut down.
And they're back, so I'm sure they'll have video games again.
Yeah, so I'm sure they'll be back, but it's like, I don't think anybody was doing well in that market, like, once digital purchases started coming out.
So, we've said it a bunch, and digital, I think, is universally touted at this point as the way of the future. The majority of people, you can't say everyone, but the majority of people are going to move to digital as their main platform. That's perfectly fine. But I see a need for these brick and mortar stores because there are collectors out there. There's people who want to build a collection. So I think in some capacity they should be there, but I don't think a giant corporate model is going to sustain because I don't think there's enough money there. Maybe small franchises or something. I don't know what to do. I'm not a
I think it needs
like
to go
that.
more the route of like what you see now for like these stores that pop up for records, for vinyl. So like there's one that just opened that's been open for a little bit in my area, and it seems to be doing well for the guy that opened it. He used to run a music venue. And now he has this store like where he's selling vinyl, and it's going to become more of a collector's thing, and I'm sure he's getting in new stuff, but I'm sure he has a ton of old stuff, which is going to be where it's at.
Yeah, I think that like old and vintage is going to be the way to go.
Yeah, and then like you're going to see a movement where we have these digital games coming out, and then they're going to drop like the collector's edition, and it's going to be on a disc. And, you know, like maybe it's like they only made 100 copies, or, you know, they're only going to sell them for a little while. They're only going to press them for that amount of time. And your console may or may not have a disc reader, but it's like it could come with that plus a digital code to where like you don't have to break the package.
Yeah, I agree. There's ways around it.
Yeah, it's like kind of similar to like I bought these two I bought books, but they came with vinyl read-alongs, and I have them like on display.
Nice.
I think they could do cool stuff like that.
No, I'm right there with you. And I think they need to appease both parties. I mean, like we've talked about it. Like we said, I think the majority of things will be digital. People are scared of this. You know, well, what if you lose the service? All your games are gone, or you technically don't own these things. I can't really get behind that or look at it like that. You know, these companies could end tomorrow, sure, but are they likely to? No. I mean,
it'll be a real dark day if Sony and Microsoft go belly up in the video game industry.
Right. I mean, it can always happen, but the likelihood is extremely small.
Exactly. Like, how much are they impacted by, you know, like, the real world in that department? Like, how did they fare, like, when, you know, the stock market is way down? Or, you know, like, I just can't get behind it. It's not like they live in a fantasy world. They live in the real world, and money is a real thing. But how affected are they by these swings?
You would have to think they have to be affected, but obviously they've made it through several, so.
Exactly.
Know. And you got companies like Nintendo, Microsoft, and Sony, I think, has the least amount of expendable income as far as that goes. But, you know, Microsoft and Nintendo have money for days to throw at this, and they can and they will. So, all their eggs aren't in one basket. If it was just a gaming company, you could see that maybe. But, you know, Sony and Microsoft and even Nintendo's the closest to just a gaming company. But, you know, they all have different investments. You know, Sony's got computers. They've got cameras, whatever, a laundry list of electronics. Microsoft has obviously got the same. They also deal with software, peripherals, hardware. Like, they have such a diverse thing that their entire package can support their gaming centers. And it might be hurt by some type of economic downturn, but they're not going anywhere. So your games are fine.
Yeah, and I think that even if they would, you know, like, they'd stand up the server, they'd say, hey, like, we're going under. Here's your chance. You have a month to download these games and put them on your hard drive if you want to play them again.
Yeah. I just don't get behind that argument. So,
Yeah.
you know, I'm all on board with digital. People like Jeremy want their collection. There's room for both, is what we're getting at. So,
Exactly.
but it's kind of sad that GameStop's doing this, and I can almost guarantee it's in my bones. You're going to see more store closings in 2020, and ultimately, probably a bankrupt company. I don't even think it makes it out of 2020, early 2021 maybe.
We'll see. I think that it'll survive. It'll grasp for air for a while, and then eventually.
We'll see.
No time soon.
Okay.
They'll rebrand and rebrand and rebrand until they run out of rebrands.
Gotcha. Two different ends of the spectrum there. We'll see what happens. Only time will tell. Let's get the other pretty shitty news out of the way, if you really want to call it shitty. But Fallout 76 is getting more backlash.
Yeah, so at first when Fallout 76 dropped and the Atomic Shop was introduced, it was supposed to be for like strictly cosmetics. And, you know, like you can earn, you know, the currency in game and so on and so forth, you know, and do all that stuff. And then also, you know, they offered you a purchase if you wanted to buy more of this money, atomic points, sorry. And now they're, in the most recent update, they're selling a refrigerator and a scrap collector robot. And, these are what they consider camp items, and they're like powerful as an in-game utility to like preserve food, scour the wastelands for crafting items, and these things cannot be earned in-game. The only way to unlock them is to purchase them, and that's gonna, you know, eventually cost you money unless you've like really been grinding. But they say like the rewards for the quests and all of that are very low in terms of atomic points, which makes sense if your model is to have an in-app purchase and have a how can I explain it? You know, a currency, you know, like a premium currency. And so like this is really like not sitting well with the Fallout 76 community, because this store was literally supposed to be cosmetics. And these stores work best when they are strictly just cosmetics and they do not have an effect on the game. Or offer a way to get these items in-game, and the process can be long. People will do it if it means not having to spend money. I don't even know what the currency sells for, but I'm sure that it's probably like $9.99 for 1,000 currency. And this thing alone is $1,300, so you'll end up having to buy 2 packages.
Yeah, I mean, and we don't need to get into this discussion because we've had it ad nauseum, but it's just bad. I mean, they've had so much go wrong with this game. So much, and then they do this. I mean, it's just...
It's a recoup. It's just a recoup, and
it's terrible.
This is another bad look for Bethesda, and that's where I'm gonna leave it.
Coming from a Bethesda fan, there's no... Like, this game is the epitome of disregarding your fans. This game should have never happened, and at this point, it should be free to play where you don't have to purchase anything for it. So... That's my 2 cents on it. It sucks that it's still getting backlash. Bethesda, they may never get out from it. This is going to be a black mark, a blemish on their record forever. They can create the world's best game next year, and this will still be the talk of the town. Oh, they made the best game, but you remember Fallout 76?
Yeah, this will always be a blemish.
So, let's move on to some cooler news. That was the end of the depressing stuff. If you made it through that and you're still with us, thank you for sticking around because we got some cool shit to talk about. I just got breaking news come across my Twitter feed out of Tokyo Game Show, and there has been a release date for Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, which is the RPG Dragon Ball Z game. It's going to be making its way to PS4, Xbox One, and PC on January 17th of 2020.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. That's kind of exciting. Kick off the year with a game that looks pretty good.
Yeah, and they're on a good streak. The last few Dragon Ball Z games have been really well done.
Yep. It's not the Dragon Ball RPG that I want, but it's the Dragon Ball RPG that is going to get its hooks in me.
I agree. If I'm going to get hooked on a DBZ RPG, this will be it. Because it tells the stories I like. I think it's going through the Cell Saga. It might go through all of the DBZ Saga, and that's obviously most people's favorite. So, very cool stuff. I love Tokyo Game Show and PAX and all these shows because we always get cool shit that comes out of it. Makes you happy to be a gamer. And last but not least, we're bringing up a topic that doesn't usually come up. We're going to talk about Apple on a video game podcast because they just announced their new iPhone 11, but along with that, they've also announced their Apple Arcade. So I'm going to let Carmin talk about it. He's kind of got a little bit more depth about it than I've seen. So
Apple Arcade is a new gaming subscription service. It actually launches on September 19th. Subscribers are going to have an access to more than 100 games. They showcased a bunch of games. They've showcased a game from Capcom. I'm probably going to butcher this, but I think it's Shinsekai Into the Depths. They showed a new Frogger game, Frogger in Toy Town, and then they also showed Sayonara Wild Hearts. And they have really pulled in some developers. They're getting Sega, Square Enix, Devolver, Ubisoft. There's a whole list that you can get on Apple. There's a ton of 100+ games you're going to get access to right off the jump. And the price. You cannot beat this price. It's $4.99 a month. And that's not just for one user, 2 users, even 3. You would think, man, $4.99, I'm going to get 3 users. No, you're getting a family plan. That's unlimited access for up to 6 family members. I'm actually pretty hype about this. And they're even going to give a 1-month free trial.
Yeah, this seems cool. And the coolest part about it is it's not just mobile games that you're getting access to. They're bringing in these AAA developers to make games for it. So the quality's better. So you're paying $5 a month, which is pennies it's less than $1 per person on the family plan. But you're getting access to games that are made by giant developers for a mobile platform. This is really cool. I'm digging it as well.
Oh yeah, no, they're doing big things. And just one more thing about the gaming aspect of it is that you're gonna have a variety of controller options. So the iPhone supports Xbox and PlayStation 4 controllers, and then there's obviously going to be on-screen touch controls, which for most games is not going to be ideal. But because you can use existing controllers that you already own, there should be no complaints well, you're only going to be able to play the game with your touch controls, and that's just terrible. No, these games are going to be on point. It's going to be this is going to be big for mobile gaming. And with the new phones and the new iPads and, existing hardware, you can't beat it. I'm subscribing. I like mobile games. Just turn off your notifications so you're not bothered by Twitter. And boom, you playing, baby.
Really cool. I'm excited. I'm going to jump on Carmen's family plan. It's the same thing we do for Nintendo.
Appreciate you, dog. Appreciate you.
And we're going to try it out.
Yeah, I just kind of scrolled through the site to see if I could get a listing of developers. Not that I would read them all off because there's a ton of them. The image was huge. But I'm going to give you just a few of the games that are coming out. Ballistic Baseball, Choo Choo Rocket Universe, and that's from Sega. We're getting Exit the Gungeon from Devolver. Pac-Man Party Royale from Bandai Namco. Rayman Mini from Ubisoft. The list goes on and on. I'm trying to scroll through this pretty quick to see who else was coming out. Oh, Various Daylife from Square Enix. It's a brand new RPG. So there's a ton of things happening here. The quality is going to be good in terms of graphics. Exit the Gungeon is going to be super fun. So yeah, definitely think about this as an option. And this is gonna be pretty big. This is a direct shot at Google with Stadia and everything. So it's gonna be interesting, man.
It is
real interesting.
We're seeing everybody move to the streaming game model. So, well, we don't know if it's streaming. I guess you got to download the games, right? Do we know yet?
I think it's download.
Okay. So I get it now. Okay, let me overstep there. But anyway, no, everyone's moving towards this model. Subscriptions are where it's at. And I'm okay with it, especially when you have a deal like this. So definitely could be worth it. We're gonna see. We'll be hands on with it. We'll be able to tell you for sure. But from an outside view looking in, it looks good.
Yes.
But that's it. We've come to the end of the road. No more news. I know we had a lot of kind of shitty stuff going on, and we needed to end it with something good. And I think that the update for DBZ Kakarot and Apple Arcade was just what we needed. But Carmen, you got anything else?
No, that's it. I just want to make sure that everybody is subscribed to us on YouTube. I know that we run our little blurb at the beginning, but we have episodes of Select Start dropping Tuesdays and Thursdays. Crash Team Racing has been on for the past 2 weeks, and I think we have a few more episodes, but I'm going to break it up with some other stuff that we've curated. And I just want to send my love and appreciation to all the fans.
All right. Is that it?
That's it, baby.